Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Matter of Opinion, the show where we debate and give our opinion on topics based off facts and the information available. I'm Walls P. Now, before we get started with the video, I want to give a shout out to Adriana Montez, who is a premium subscriber to the Matter of Opinion show. So kudos to you. Appreciate your contribution. It's because of folks like you that help this channel grow. And guys and girls, if you want to help support the channel, definitely consider becoming a member. And the best part about it, you can cancel at any time. So again, we thank you for your contribution, and we will continue to keep the ball rolling here on Matter of Opinion. So today's episode, I want to talk about a police officer by the name of Luis Santiago. He's 25 years old, worked for the Newark Police Department, and been a police officer since 2019. So what happened with Luis Santiago? One night while he was off duty at about 3 a.m., him and his buddy Albert Guzman was driving on the parkway in his Honda Accord. That's when Santiago started to drift to the side and wind up striking a pedestrian. When he struck that pedestrian, he actually killed him. That pedestrian's name? 29-year-old Damian Demka, who was a nurse in Garfield, New Jersey. Now, one thing I gotta add, me living in Jersey and being on the parkway, I mean thousands of times, I've never once saw a pedestrian walking on the side of the parkway, let alone on the parkway, unless it's a construction worker. So the thought of a pedestrian actually walking on the parkway, that would never cross my mind. I don't know, let me know in the comment section. Have you guys that live in Jersey ever saw a pedestrian actually walking on the parkway? So when Mr. Santiago strikes this man, he flees the scene. Come back, leave again. Come back, leave again. At this point, he's deciding what should he do, because it's reported that he was drinking and driving and also texting on his phone when the accident happened. Eventually, he decides with his partner to put the body in the backseat of the car, drive it to his Bloomfield home where he lived with his parents, and then ask his moms what should he do with the body.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf! Mom, the meatloaf! Fuck!
Now, I remind you, no one did CPR, no life-saving measures, nobody called 911. So now, when he gets to the house, his mother basically tell him, put that body back, you need to put it back at the crime scene. I'm paraphrasing, but in a nutshell, that's what she said. Now, his father, who's a lieutenant in Newark Police Department, he eventually wind up calling 911 and saying my son was in an accident. Now, at this point, it's reported that Luis Santiago was furious with his father for calling 911. So now Luis Santiago and Guzman head back to the crime scene. When police show up, they find the body in the backseat of his car. And again, nobody did no preventative measures. Nobody did no CPR to the man in the backseat of the car who's dead. And the body was pronounced dead about 4 a.m. So for an hour, this man was just laying there suffering, taking his last breaths, and eventually died. Now, something like this, I could see happening to any 25-year-old. Hell, when I was 25 years old, I'd go to the club, party and everything like that, say, you know, hey, I want a nice night out, have a good time. And then when I see at the end of the night, I'm not going home with no fly lady or nothing like that, that's when usually people rely on the night fighters. We all know what the night fighters are. That person you got on your phone who you only see at nighttime because they're not attractive, but you know they got that good stuff. So yeah, so when you leave the club, you're definitely trying to set up that night fighter appointment. Now, I don't condone drinking and driving. That's an absolute no-no for me. Anybody around me, I don't condone it. But have I texted and drive before? Of course I have. I don't condone that either. But the bottom line is, if you're going to engage in those things, you must be prepared to suffer the consequences that come with it. And here you have a police officer who's trained to disregard his own life, but look for the safety of others. And then when the moment presented itself, he immediately looked to save his own ass. Disregarding all the training, disregarding everything that was taught to him, disregarding a human life, just to save his own butt. And because of those selfish actions, he got himself in a worse predicament, he dragged his mother into it, and also the guy he was riding with is now dragged into the situation. Because of all of their selfish actions, Annette Santiago and Guzman are both charged with conspiracy to desecrate human remains, hindering apprehension, and conspiracy to hinder apprehension and tamper with physical evidence. In addition to reckless vehicular homicide and desecrating human remains, Santiago was charged with leaving the scene of a crash resulting in death, endangering an injured victim, desecrating moving human remains, hindering one's own apprehension, conspiracy to hinder prosecution, tampering with physical evidence, obstructing the administration of law, and 2 counts of official misconduct. All of that because you wanted to save your own butt. Now, I guarantee you, if he would have struck this pedestrian, got out of the vehicle, performed CPR, called 911, trust me, it would be way less charges. Of course, he's gonna get some charges and wind up, doing some time or whatever, but it would be way less than what it is now that he's currently facing. It makes me think, how many officers actually had situations like this and they're driving with a fellow officer and something like this happens and they both work to cover it up? Nobody would ever know anything. And this shows you that that's actually possible. And we all know when it comes to courts, the cops always get the benefit of the doubt. And this is why civilians have a problem trusting law enforcement. And don't get me wrong, I'm pro-cop. If you look at a lot of the videos on my channel, you will see I'm pro-cop. But I also call out bad policing. I'm not oblivious to bad policing and saying, oh, cops can do no wrong. If you're looking for a person to give you one-sided conversations, you're gonna find out on another channel, not here. I call a spade a spade. That's just how it is. But these are reasons why people mistrust police officers. Because here you have a person who's trained to disregard his own life, run into a burning building, run in the middle of a shootout, but when you strike somebody with your car, you ultimately look on how can you save your own self. You actually look at how can you save yourself and disregard this person that you just killed. And this is why when I cover news like this of people doing things that are wrong, I don't worry about their past unless their past charges is related to the crime that they actually did. So if you have a person that has a gun charge and then he wind up shooting somebody, I'm gonna speak about the past. But if you have a person who had drug charges and then he wind up raping somebody, I'm not gonna bring up his past drug charges because it doesn't equate with the two. And I get it. People will say, well, hey, that shows he have a mind of a criminal, whatever the case may be. In all honesty, we're all criminals. The reason why I say we're all criminals is every single one of us, unless you're Jesus Christ himself, has done something that could have got us locked up, has done something that could have got us a felony, has done something that could have got us killed, whatever the case may be, detained somehow. The difference is we just haven't been caught. So if we're gonna sit here and talk about, oh, look at this person's rap sheet, technically we all have a rap sheet. We all have done something that could have got us criminally charged. So unless, for me, it's related to that particular crime, I don't talk about that person's past crimes. So the moral to the story for me is it take a hell of a man or woman to do the right choice when nobody's watching or they know they cannot get caught. That's what it boils down to. Because as you see here, in a split of a second, your life can go from being perfect, no worries in the world, to now you're facing criminal charges. So let that seep in. How many of you guys would actually make the right choice if no one was watching and you know you couldn't get caught? A lot of you watching now got demons in your closet now that nobody know about. So again, how many of you would do the right thing if nobody's watching and you know you couldn't get caught? That's gonna do it for this episode of Matter of Opinion. Now I wanna say rest in peace to the Daimka family. I'm sorry for your loss. I know it's unfortunate how this happened, and may justice be served so you could be on that road to recovery. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'd love to hear your take on it. Keep the conversations clean, keep the insults at bay, because at the end of the day, the insults do nothing to move the conversation forward. Don't forget to join our Discord. Don't forget to join our locals. The link for everything is in the description. I'm Walls P, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
It's a matter of opinion.